Hi and welcome to a new video series that I'll be starting. It's an additional to other projects that I've got going at the moment. I'll talk about those in a little while, but just in my main workshop here, just sitting outside under a lean-to carport is a 1929 Model A Roadster, which I'll be at least at this early stage getting it roadworthy, so I can then work out to what extent the car will be done up. A few people will argue just leave it as it is. Others will say, oh no, you know, get it up to a standard to what it was when it was first built. Given the amount of parts that are available, both in Australia and namely over in America, it is very possible to get these cars looking as they were straight out of the showroom. The car's been sitting in a workshop for probably around about 20 plus years. It was driven there. It did drive for a little bit. It was running rough. I know the owner very well that sold it to me. So my first job is to at least get this car going, at least starting anyway, to see what things need to be done to it. So let's just go around and we'll go and have a look at the car, and we'll just talk about the varying things that I've actually started on it at the moment. So 1929 Roadster, the green colour. He's already gone around prior to me purchasing this car, has repowder coated all of the rims, got some white wall tyres on it, so that's a good start, I think, with period looking Firestone tyres on it. So just quickly inside the car, it's had an addition put into it at some stage of its life with these blinkers or turn signals, and also the windscreen wiper. Now this is something that sticks out to those enthusiasts, is that these weren't period to the car. I believe this is the light switch, so parking off and on or something along those lines. I'm yet to work out high beam, whether it had a high beam or not. I won't go into too much detail of what all the buttons and things do, but it is quite daunting to those that hop in this car for the first time, that have absolutely zero idea. I mean, look at this for an example. There's 48,000 things on the floor to play with. So my first objective is to just quietly go through all of the wiring looms, which I've just basically started. Just removed the headlights and just looked at all the wires. These things were just sort of, by the looks of things, just tacked on. I won't lift this side up yet, so just found a couple of things. Now, the good thing is that you can actually buy pretty much every part for one of these cars. And starting with the wiring loom is a good place to start, because it has been, if you look over here, this is just deteriorated. It's all burnt out. If this touches something and it's not an earth cable, well, bang, there goes your electrical system gone. So what I've done is I've just been doing some inquiries through Schneider, which is a reputable company in America, and I'm at the first dilemma, which is, what do I do? Do I put in turn signals, or do I not put in turn signals? So I don't know what everyone thinks. I think they look just as good with turn signals if you put in something a little bit better than what's been put onto here. These cars obviously never came with turn signals, and whether I do that or not. So I suppose the argument is turn signals, it's a safety thing, I suppose. It's not a law requirement to have them on. It was built before an era where they made that become law if you were doing something up. So no seat belts, no no windscreen wipers, no turn signals and the like. So I'm going to go through the process of at least sort of having a direction where I'll go. So what I mean by that, there's the wiring harness that you can purchase for this car is a turn in the road for you. So whether you go down the path of the original car and have no turn signals, then you have to buy a specific wiring harness. If you want to add in turn signals later on, well then you buy that harness. It's still exactly the same as the first harness, but it just is has the added for the turn signals. Now I'll probably go down that path, but most definitely the 3 wiring harnesses that I have to purchase for this, which I'll go through in detail when they arrive, is one of the first things that I'll have to do. I've already drained the radiator and refilled it, and that is outside. That's the cooling side of it done, and then the other side of it is obviously the battery. Now I've removed the battery, so I'll just bring the camera in here and show you where the battery goes in this car. So just open up the floor pan here. Sorry, when I say open up the floor pan, it did actually have a hole in it. I removed the carpet, and that's the battery location down there. So the floorboards seem in really good condition. I don't even know if they've been replaced at some stage, but there it is. So there's the battery location down there. Basic instrumentation, very basic instrumentation. This is the fuel gauge, which will have to be replaced. It's all rusted, and it's got a sight glass inside it. You can actually buy exact replicas of those, which is incredible. The speedometer or odometer, I've looked behind the dash as well, so this comes off with 4 screws. It's actually been disconnected, so it's probably why it's got so low miles on it, 83 miles or 84.9 miles on the trip counter. Amp meter looks like it's original, key looks like it's original. This, believe it or not, is actually the fuel tank. Something I've just learnt recently, that is the actual fuel tank. So it's incredible how simple these cars were built. Over here you'll see some retrofitted light switches and wiper blades. There's the wiper, the wiper's up here. You can actually get all new stuff of this. This I believe is the lights, so off, on for parkers and on for lights. I don't know if it has a high beam. I'm yet to work that out. A little bit of a horn. Spark advance and hand throttle control. Yes, these cars did have a cruise control. Very rudimentary cruise control, but that's it. We won't go into all of the details of everything here at the moment. Suffice to say that I will as I go. So I'll close. We'll just go back into the workshop and just close this one off for the day. So we've got our electrical side, which I've touched on. So just recapping, there are 3 harnesses that go into this motor vehicle, and I'll go through those in depth when they arrive, but I'm just going to rip it all out and replace it all. I'll probably put in the provision for a turn signal at some stage and an extra tail light at the rear of the car. Now if I choose not to go down to turn signals and choose not to have an extra tail light at the rear of the car, that's not going to be an issue, because I can just keep that wiring loom in there for a later date to upgrade should I decide to go down that path. I've done the water in the radiator, as I said, just checking for leaks. The radiator actually was recored probably about 20 years ago, so that's a bonus for me. So tyres have been redone, the rims have been powder coated black, and the radiator has been recored as in fixed up so there's no leaks. The last one is the engine oil. Now I've looked at the engine oil, and it's actually more than oil. It's almost like grease. It's very thick, so I'm probably going to have to remove the sump. I will have to remove the sump. There's no probably about it. I will be removing the sump, drain it all out of the where anything that's claggy and yucky inside there. Give it a good old clean out with a degreaser. Reassemble the sump. Probably at this stage we'll probably try to reuse the existing sump gasket rather than go down the path of replacing the sump gasket, although I will be buying a sump gasket at some stage depending on what I have to do to the engine. Again, keeping my fingers crossed that it will actually start. The other side of it is once I replace the oil, I will be looking at the carburetor. Now it doesn't have now I can't think of the carburetor's name. Zenith, that's it. It doesn't have a Zenith carburetor, and I believe there was 3 models of those. People will correct me if I'm wrong, but the one that I've got on there, and I think it's called Tedelson or something like that, beginning with a T. It's that type of carburetor. Now it looks okay. I'm going to take the risk that the carburetor is okay. So I'm going to just, oh, and sorry, the other thing I've done as well is I have filled in, open up the fuel tank lid. Obviously it was dry and it's whatever. And I've poured in some kerosene. Now I got that from an enthusiast here in, a mechanic enthusiast that has a Model A. And he suggested I put in kerosene, which I put in around about sort of 2 litres, I think it was, or 4 litres it was, of kerosene to give it a good old swish around to see if I had any leaks. Now it doesn't have any leaks at the moment, which is a good thing. So I'll let that stay in there for a couple of weeks, give it a swish around, remove it all, put fuel in at this stage, replace the oil. I've done the water without any coolant, and I'll replace the loom. The battery behind me over there is a 6-volt battery. I've tried charging it. It's not holding charge. It's down to about 4 volts, I think, after about a week. So it will have to be replaced, which is understandable. It's probably been sitting in the car for those 20 plus years. And that will be it for these first early stages of the car. So welcome on board if you're here. Just very briefly, other projects that I've got going at the moment. Just behind me over here, I'm building an aircraft from a scratch, from a kit. I'll put a link down below to what that channel is. This is a brand new channel. And I've been working on restoring an old motorbike, a 1976 Suzuki AC50, which is just a story for another day. It's unbelievable the amount of bad luck I've had with that car, from exploding fuel tanks to a guy taking 3 years to rebuild me a new tank, to all sorts of stuff. So I'll close this one off. I hope to do updates every maybe 2 weeks. As I said, I've got 30,000 projects on the go. I love to be doing many things. Helping my partner build a deck at her place. I'm renovating and stuff here at my place. I live in sunny Queensland for those that are interested. So yep. Anyway, close off. Talk too much, waffled on. Hope to see you next time. Talk with you soon.